Yo, what is good, everyone? Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prodigy channel, and in this video, I am simply going to be going through my 3 fantasy football leagues and setting my lineups across all 3 of those leagues. As you guys can see, especially in this league right here, we are dealing with a ton of injuries. We're dealing with injuries across pretty much all of our leagues, as I'm sure you are as well. So hopefully, as you guys watch this video, you can see me deal with my injury situations and other lineup decisions, and then hopefully that will help you make decisions heading into week 10 of the 2020 fantasy football season. We got some half PPR, standard league, 1 quarterback, 2 quarterback, dynasty league, redraft league, all sorts of stuff that we're going to cover in this video. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So this is the first league that we're going to go over right here. This is a non-PPR 12-team league. I am somehow 7-2 and first in the standings in this league. I'm on a 5-game win streak despite having McCaffrey on my team, who we finally got back last week. He performed like the #1 overall pick that he was for me, and then he got injured again. So we missed all these games right here after starting the season super hot. Came back for 1 game, was magnificent, and now he's injured again. And I did not and do not have Mike Davis on my team. So that is super frustrating. We're also going to be without Chris Carson, David Montgomery, Justin Jackson, Raheem Mostert, and Zach Ertz this week. I've been without Mostert and Ertz for quite a while, but now this week Carson and Montgomery are both out. It's looking ugly, and TJ Hockenson is questionable. I'm hoping he does play. It's looking like he has a decent chance as of this recording. So in this league, our first priority is to replace these running backs. So I did just pick up Kalen, Ballage, and I had Kelley on my team. I don't want to play 2 Chargers running backs, but I really have no better option. Justin Jackson is not playing, obviously, because he just got put on IR. So hopefully that will, lead to more touches for these 2. Kalen Ballage actually had a good week last week. He had 69 yards and a touchdown, 15 receiving yards. Kelley, what did he do? He had 28 rushing yards, 31 receiving yards. So, I mean, hopefully, they'll each, maybe one of them will get a touchdown. One of them will catch a few passes here and there, ideally. But, yeah, if we look at the waiver wire, just in this league right here, you might be thinking just pick someone else up. There's really no one else to pick up that I would really rather play over either of those guys. Like, I mean, who here really, who do you want to play? No one. And it's super frustrating as we look at my transactions that I made in this league, because I dropped Wayne Gallman and picked up Alexander Madison back on November 8th, thinking, oh, I don't need Wayne Gallman. I'm never going to start him. I'll pick up a high upside handcuff like Alexander Madison. Well, since then, if we go back to my team here, all of these injuries have happened, or more injuries have happened to Chris Carson and Montgomery. So this is the craziest, most injured team I have ever had. Probably the most injured team I've ever seen. Comment down below if you've ever seen a team, or if you yourself are dealing with injuries like this, or even if it's not that bad. I just want to hear if you guys are dealing with these injuries. They're just crazy this year. Comment down below how you're coping with that, because it's been rough. I'm not gonna lie. But, we've been actually very fortunate in this league. Like I said, we're 7-2. We have fought through it somehow miraculously. But yeah, these are the other transactions I've made recently. I dropped Jermichael Hasty, picked up the Saints. This was kind of a weird thing I did. I picked up and dropped the Saints defense. It was kind of weird. So I dropped Jermichael Hasty, and I added Mason Crosby because Younghoe Koo was on bye. And yeah, those are pretty much the transactions we made. And I just added Kalen Ballage pretty recently. So yeah. This is our team for the week. Now our only decision, really, I am starting Lockett and Fuller. The only decision really comes down to Chase Claypool and Chris Godwin. And I am going with Chase Claypool this week. It is very, very close for me. And I'm not going to lie, maybe this isn't the best way to make a decision. Some people actually take the complete opposite approach. But I have Chris Godwin in another league that we're going to touch on here very soon. And, I'm fine playing him in that league and benching him in the other. Just not to put all my eggs in one basket, because if you saw their offense last week, the Buccaneers, they looked terrible. I do not expect that to be a common thing moving forward. I think that was just a fluke. But, their offense looked ugly. He's coming off a finger injury. I don't know if that really played a big role in any of that. But, they have a lot of mouths to feed in Tampa Bay. And kind of the same, Chase Claypool is kind of in the same situation, right? Because they have a lot of receivers in Pittsburgh as well that they like to get the ball to. But last week, he had a lot of targets, 13 targets and he caught 8 of them for 69 yards. So if that target volume can continue, I think he can expose this Cincinnati defense, hopefully get a big play in there. And I'm going to need it this week with my running back situation. But just to also kind of tell you guys how confident I am in this, even though I do think it's close, I am going with Chase Claypool, despite playing Claypool over Godwin back in week 7 when Claypool had -2 yards against the Titans and Chris Godwin had 88 yards and a touchdown against Las Vegas. So I'm hopefully I don't regret that decision again. I'm not gonna dwell on that past mistake. I'm just gonna stick with it, stick with my gut. I think that's the right decision to make. So yeah, that's kind of the only decisions I have to make. I have the Washington football team defense against Detroit. I picked up Mason Crosby, like I said, because Koo is on bye. And then just so you guys do know, this was last week's matchup, just in case you were curious. We did win, surprisingly. I was very surprised. Montgomery had a bad game. Justin Jackson got hurt like right away in the game. He put up a goose because, he didn't play the whole game. We somehow still almost put up 100 points. Drew Brees and Christian McCaffrey kind of carried me. Will Fuller had a good game as well. My opponent really didn't have that great of a week, and here are the benches as well. I got Tua. We'll see what happens with him, but and this is my matchup this week so far. I played against Derrick Henry, who had 10.9 points. So, that's kind of our situation in that league. And then same thing in this league. This is our next league. This is a 10-team, half PPR, 2-quarterback league. So if you're in a 2-quarterback league, half PPR, anything like that, this will maybe help you out a little bit more. So in this league, I am also going up against Derrick Henry, who had 11.4 points in this league. This is a half PPR league, like I said. And this is last week's matchup. We did lose. Not some not so great performances. Melvin Gordon had 3.2 points. I played Justin Jackson in this league. I played Justin Jackson in all 3 of my leagues, and he missed the entire game, basically, and goosed in all of my leagues. So he really hurt me last week. But if they would have both performed, it could have been a little bit closer. Same with DJ Moore having a bad week, and James Conner. Like, those are 4 players that I was counting on to have at least maybe one of them having a good game, right? And it did not come to fruition, but it is what it is. I picked up Evan Ingram, I think it was this week, and he had a pretty decent game, 13.3 points. I'm never going to complain about that from a tight end. And this is the only transaction I've made recently. I did drop McCole Hardman for Jalen Reagor because despite being stacked at wide receiver in this league, I have Amari Cooper, Tyreek Hill, and Calvin Ridley all on bye, so I needed a receiver to play. I don't mind Jalen Reagor this week. I wouldn't say he's like a must-start option, but in a situation like this, I think he could be decent. Hopefully he gets a few targets and maybe has a big play or two. That's kind of all I'm hoping for. Just score me some points, Jalen, please. And I also have Matt Ryan on bye. So I'm going to be playing Jared Goff this week, which hasn't been great this year. It's been a little bit inconsistent. You can see his points right here. But luckily, he is playing Seattle, who makes every quarterback look amazing. Now, hopefully, I didn't just jinx anything, but I'm hoping Jared Goff pulls through, has at least a decent game against probably the worst pass defense in the league. They're so generous to fantasy quarterbacks, at least. This is the rest of my lineup. I got Kyler Murray in there as the starting quarterback. At running back, I am going to... Here, let's actually go to this screen over here, where I can actually move things around. So this makes it a little bit more clear. So Justin Jackson looks like he is on IR, so I'm going to move James Conner into that starting running back spot. So now we just need to fill a flex, no problem at all. I'm just going to go ahead and put Darrell Henderson in there. That's not... I'm actually happy to play him. Like, I probably would have tried to fit him into my lineup regardless. I most likely would have played him over Justin Jackson anyways, even if he was healthy. I just didn't make that change yet. And so, yeah, I think this is pretty much my lineup that I'm going with. I'm going to stick with Evan Ingram, I believe, versus Philadelphia instead of Jimmy Graham versus Minnesota. I mean, Evan Ingram, he's been getting targets. I don't mind it. So, yeah, that's kind of what that league is looking like. Oh, and by the way, I'm 5-4 in this league. I'm 3rd in the standings out of 10 teams. And then on to our final league. This is my Dynasty League, 10 teams, 1 quarterback. We got lots of flexes, lots of taxi squad stuff, and also lots of injuries to deal with. So hopefully you can get something out of this as well. So on paper, to start the year, my team looked amazing. Things happened, man, and things are looking rough. As you can see, to get a general idea of what scoring usually goes like in this league, you can see like most teams are every single team except for this team right here was over 100 points. This team was very close. I scored 57 points. And so actually the 2 lowest scoring teams in this league were both prodigious. They have prodigious in the name, so it's kind of weird. We did prodigiously bad, I guess. But yeah, we'll just take a quick look at the box score, I guess, so you guys can see how this happened. Like, Tom Brady did terrible. Clyde was mediocre. Taylor was mediocre. Connor was terrible. Jackson got hurt. Hopkins was terrible. Mike Williams, decent, I guess. Godwin was not very good. Jonnu Smith lucked out with a touchdown. Defense was terrible. Meanwhile, I mean, I got these two on the, I mean, I could have played Matt Ryan. That wouldn't have been crazy to play him, or to play him over Tom Brady. I just went with Brady. I picked wrong, obviously. And there's the rest of my bench right there. And there's like what my taxi squad is looking like. So yeah, now we got to look at, well, let's actually take a look at the transactions I've made so far in this league as well. Go to the transaction log, look at for my team, what have I done lately? So yeah, recently I pretty much just cut Richard Rodgers and picked up Blake Jarwin for 53 out of 200 fab points. He's on IR, but I think next year, I'm assuming Dak will be back, and if Blake Jarwin's back, hopefully, you know, he'll be good next year. I liked him as a sleeper tight end, breakout, whatever you want to call it, candidate this year. So I just outbid the other team that put a bid on him right there. So got lucky there. But yeah, let's take a look at this week now. So in this league, you won't believe this. I just actually realized this a little bit before filming this video. The guy I'm playing, he started Raheem Hines, who had 26 fantasy points. He scored 2 touchdowns. Unbelievable. I just cannot catch a break in this league. I played Jonathan Taylor, you know, my number 2 overall rookie pick. I don't want to talk about it, bro. I just don't want to talk about it. I mean, you can look across this whole league, right? Jonathan Taylor, he's been pretty much a bust. He's been all right, but not what I expected. Same with Clyde. You look at my IR, Cortland Sutton, George Kittle on IR. Deebo Samuel, he's been out for, I mean, ever. Oh man, it's just rough. Like Tevin Coleman, he never turned out to really do much. Justin Jackson's on IR now. So we got a lot of stuff happening. Not in our favor, but we are getting Miles Sanders back, which is nice. He's right in the lineup at quarterback. I'm going to be playing Tom Brady against Carolina. Hopefully he can shake off that bad week last week. At running back, at these other 2 flex spots, I am playing James Conner, who is a running back. And I think J.D. McKissick, I'm going to have to decide between him and Giovanni Bernard. I wish I had a time machine so I could just put in Giovanni Bernard instead of Jonathan Taylor. But honestly, as of now, I'm siding with J.D. McKissick because this is a half PPR league. He had a ton of targets last week, didn't he? I believe he did. Where do you see the targets? He had 14 targets last week as a running back, 9 catches, and it's a better matchup against Detroit compared to Giovanni Bernard against the Steelers. I mean, he has a much more like solid rushing workload. It seems like he catches a few passes as well. So I will have to think about this a little bit. This isn't a final decision. If I change my mind, if I do put in Gio versus J.D. McKissick, I will comment it down below and put it in the description. But as of now, I think I'm just gonna roll with J.D. McKissick. And then at wide receiver, we're sticking with Hopkins, even though hopefully he'll have a better game this week than last week. Mike Williams, I think I'm going to keep in there. Chris Godwin, I am playing in this league. I am starting Dallas Goedert against the Giants over someone like John. Well, John New already played, and he actually scored a touchdown, but he still only had 8.5 points. So hopefully, you know, there's still a chance that Goedert could outperform him. At defense, we got the Chargers versus the Bears against Minnesota. The Vikings have been rolling. I am a Vikings fan. Can you even see it? Here. Can you see it? I have a Vikings pillow back there. Maybe you can't see it, but I am a Vikings fan. I don't like to let that creep into fantasy, but they have been hot lately. I'm just going to roll with that. Roll against the Bears defense and roll with the Chargers defense against Miami and their rookie quarterback, Tua. Even though Tua had a good game last week, I don't know. Either way, it is what it is, right? I don't really love either matchup for either team, but in Dynasty, you can't really stream defenses because all the defenses are owned, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I think those are all the decisions that I've had to make across all my leagues. Like Amari Cooper's on bye. Can't play Amari Cooper then. Matt Ryan's on bye. I'm not playing Cam Newton against Baltimore. Yeah, it's pretty much just Gio or what's his name? J.D. McKissick. So yeah, I think that is pretty much going to do it for this video, guys. I also, actually, hold on. I forgot to go over where I am in the standings in this league. Here I am in the standings. It's been a rough season, man. I expected bigger things, but things did not go my way. Like with Amari Cooper, I forgot to even mention this. With him losing not only Dak, but also Andy Dalton, things have been rough for him. Hopefully Dalton comes back and is at least serviceable so Amari Cooper can get back on track. But yeah, that is pretty much going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you got some sort of piece of helpful information out of this. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more fantasy football content, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.